minute. Let's talk. So a couple of things have happened. I am no longer working as an interpreter, and I want to get into a little bit about that. Getting into in a career that was a dream for me since I was a kid was something that kind of just fell into my lap. Literally, it was something that was handed to me on a silver fucking platter. And it wasn't all it was cracked up to be, because it was not in the parameters I had wanted for myself. What I mean by that is, I had always seen myself as a music interpreter. But, I don't know. The more I did it, the more I realized it wasn't for me. I was working in a school system, in elementary school in Delaware, and they treated me well and fair, and probably the best working environment I ever had. But working with children is something you have to love. And I mean literally love. You have to have a passion for it. And you get drained from it. And the 3 women that I worked with were, quite frankly, the best people on the planet to have worked with and given that situation with. I don't know how I could have survived without them, honestly. It was such a hardship on myself because I didn't prepare myself for the mental drain and suck of that was going to be, because you get attached to these children and you learn their backgrounds, good, bad, or indifferent, and it was something completely out of the realm for me, you know. It was more than my heart could really handle, because the job was unexpected and how hard it was going to be. I'm also 41 years old now, and I was driving 45 minutes to and from home every day, 5 days a week. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for work, out the door by 6. I was at Starbucks hours, which I thought I could still handle. Apparently, I cannot. What again, though? In the concept of doing this job, you think I would be so happy doing a job that was something for me, and I was happy, and I was doing it, and it was making me fulfilled in ways that I was lying to myself, because I had such an identity crisis with this job. Incredibly bad. So bad so that I ended up drawing into a deep depression. A depression that I never thought I would be in again. And I wanted to unalive myself. Thankfully, that didn't happen, because I have amazing roommates, a husband, friends here and in New York that have supported me through this entire thing. And the reason for the identity crisis is that I am a self-taught deaf person. I've been re-diagnosed as a deaf person from an audiologist. I have a clinical diagnosis that I am a deaf person. Fucking finally, first of all. It challenged me because the woman I was working with had learned ASL the right way, mind you. And we have mutual friends in common back home, which is hilarious. I have no ill will towards her because she's amazing. She was my support and was so helpful, and you know, the strength of this woman being a mom and doing this job at the same time is no easy feat. You have to love it. And I thought I would. I thought this would be the end all be all. It wasn't. Turns out it was doing something that is my life's blood of how I communicate with the world wasn't where I was supposed to end up. I wasn't making music either. I wasn't writing the way I should have been. I wasn't enjoying myself with music, and I took a step back, not because I wanted to, because I just feel like I was going through the motions, and the only reason I've been keeping my guitar lessons is because I get to see my best friend every week. It's money in his pocket, and I get to hang out with him for an hour. Honestly, it's perfect in my opinion. And I was going downhill fast. This job burnt me out in so many ways, spiritually, mentally, physically, identical, that my identity was challenged from this. If I am really a deaf person, if my signing wasn't where everyone was, my interpreting skills, I doubted the skills that I developed myself. And that hurt me more than anything else in the world. I was just self-taught signer. I never had a deaf schooling or ASL classes. I was myself alone, and it made me hate myself. I looked in the mirror every day, and I didn't understand who I was. Hi, can I help you? Say hello, Maris. Sorry about that. Anyway, I hated myself so much because I felt like this liar, this outcast, this person that I had built myself up to be, and suddenly I couldn't do the most basic of things that I thought I could do. This is why they need qualified interpreters. I want to make something very clear. This was handed to me. That was the wrong decision on the school's part, because somebody wanted to help me out. In my opinion, hire qualified interpreters. Do not hire people like me. I regret taking the opportunity in one way because I wasn't formally educated, and the responsibility of that is great. And I knew that because when I wanted to be an interpreter in the beginning, I didn't want to work in schools because I knew the responsibility of that. I want to work in music and interpret shows. And I regret taking this position. What I don't regret is the women that I made and the friends that I've made throughout this entirety of the situation. And the influence of the people I met in that school, I will take with myself for the rest of my goddamn life. But there's a reason why we have qualified interpreters and schoolings and strict things for that reason. I let myself take this opportunity on a selfish reason because I knew I was never going to get this opportunity handed to me again. And in part of that, put more work on another interpreter that had more stress than she needed. And I can only apologize for my lack of skill. And she and I have already had this conversation when I decided I was going to leave the school back in March. And while she, on one part, didn't want me to leave, she understood my decision because of the stress it was putting her in as well. And I don't want to cause any undue stress or harm to anyone. Plus, the information that was getting relayed to the children, I wasn't doing correctly because realizing that my sign was more PSC, more sign exactly English and PSE than ASL, which is a problem. So I decided to leave. I had spoken to my family and my immediate family in this house that I live with, and we came to an agreement that I was going to leave in May because it was killing me from the inside out. It was aging me more than when my mom was smoking. If you know what I mean, and if you've ever worked in the educational field, it can drain you. I've seen friends do it. I have a shit ton of friends that aren't teachers that go through that kind of draining process every year because of school districts not listening to them or understanding what the students are, or blatant disregard and bigotry towards other students, or whatever have you, depending on the state and the district that you live in. It's a problem. And it's not for the faint of hearts to handle that situation. So I took a stock of my life. I looked at everything around me. And the one thing that was still bugging me was cosmetology school. And I knew I had to take the shot. I've trusted my gut for a lot of different things. And when my gut told me, hey, you should be a musician and make music and write and do other things and play shows, and you have to do it now because you're in your 30s, and if you don't do this now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I did it. I made a record. I learned how to play guitar. I learned how to beat the odds, and my music is now immortalized on Spotify and everywhere streaming. Tales of a Songbird, if you want to pick it up, forever. And that's pretty fucking cool. When I realized that Levi was the only one for me, from that one first kiss that we had, I knew that was it. Everyone else says I was crazy. We are 3 years married, and I am having the time of my life. And when I realized that Maryland, when I was given a choice between Maryland and Virginia, and I chose Maryland, I never once really second guessed that thought. Not in a million years. Excuse me, my voice is not where it should be, but we're gonna roll with it. Never in a million years did I once think that I was gonna move out of New York, but I did. And everyone else thought I was fucking nuts and I wasn't gonna make it. I've been living here almost 4 years, and it's been the best decision of my goddamn life. But the one thing that has been killing me is not going to school. And I've tried traditional school I don't know how many times, and I have flunked out every time. But I know for the fact that when I'm in the chair and when I leave it, I feel better about myself. So I decided I want to do that for other people. So I talked to my family and friends again, to include my older sister, and they all are behind me 100%. What does that mean about jobs and working and other things and supporting myself? Well, things have changed a little bit on that front. I needed flexibility, but I knew I can't just sit at home and do nothing. But I missed having fun. And when I first moved to Maryland, I had no job, which is kind of hilarious in the situation because I'm back where I started almost 3.5 years ago, where we came to Maryland, had nothing, and all I had to do was stream. So I made affiliate on Twitch a couple of years ago, and I streamed and I enjoyed it. It's been the most fun, but I had to stop because I had to make real money. And I had to do things that were not conducive to a 1099 role. So I stopped. But I still maintained my Twitch affiliate status, which I don't know how I did, but I did. Funny enough, my husband asked me why I don't stream anymore. Only because I didn't have the time and work was killing me, whether it was T-Mobile or this interpreting gig or whatever have you. I hadn't read a book in a year. I barely have read anything because of how depressed I was. I was so wrapped up in making money and making sure we were out of debt that I didn't think to stop to consider where I laid. I had lost myself in trying to make sure that we were going to be good. And the only reason we have made it this far is because we sold our home in New York. My siblings and I came together and sold our house after my grandmother and my mom passed. It was not a decision I liked, but it's a decision we made. We sold my childhood home. And from that part of the sale of that money came to me, and I was able to catch us up. So I looked at my roommates and my husband. I said, I want to go to cosmetology school. This is a time. And to, excuse me, to combat, to help with this, I can do 2 1099 positions. I can stream 3 days a week. And I can, on the other 2, do DoorDash. And I got my first paycheck as of last Wednesday. It's not much. But hey, it's something. And I'm happier than I've ever been. I don't know what Twitch is going to come out of this. And who knows what the fuck will happen. But I'm excited. For the first time in my life, I feel back to what I was when I was first learning guitar in my 30s. I feel like I was back in 2017, getting all this together, getting my life together, getting all the gig stuff together, making set lists. It feels like that. And it's not always, technology is not always going to work. But I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I'm laughing at things. I feel lighter. And this past weekend, I got to go home and see Craving Strange with my husband. And there's a guy that opened up for them, for Oswald's Revenge, I should say, called Wilson Valley. And that just shot a fire in me. Because you have one life. Do what you want. Be happy. Maybe I'm naive and maybe I'm privileged in this. And part of it is privilege. And I will not squander my privilege. I will not squander the situation I have of being so lucky, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm not depressed. I'm happy. I'm living a good life. I have a wonderful husband. I have a good marriage, a very good marriage. I have an incredible group of friends down here and at home. And I'm not in a place where I'm going to give up. And the fact that I was at a place to give up is fucking insane. Because that was never used to be the case with me. Somewhere along the lines, I let the rat race beat me. I won't let it do that again. We live in a patriarchal society where men usually get majority of the wins. And I don't want to do that. We live in a capitalist society as well that will bleed you dry. And it's happening more with Sony, with fucking the gaming industry. Everything is a subscription and it can beat you down so morally. But not if you have great people to prop you up. And I am so blessed to have an amazing group of people in my life. From the girls down here in Maryland, I am so blessed with these women. The 5 of you have been incredible people. And I don't know what I did to get you fuckers, but I'm going to keep them. And I don't know where the road heads next. But I know content needs to be made more. I opinions. I used to make a whole bunch of opinions on this channel and talk about my life and where it's going, and I stopped for a long time, and majority of my content is now on TikTok. But this is where I started making content. This is where I made all of my most favorite videos and in my 20s, and documented my entire 20s to where I am now. I'm 41 years old. In a month, in 22 days, I believe, I will turn 42. And I want to document my life the way I used to. Because that's what made me the happiest. Maybe it's the neurodivergent in me, the spectrum, who knows? But the only way I'm going to get better in my own self-esteem and in my own way of living and with my friends and my family is if I choose happiness first and choose what makes me happy. So right now I'm working for myself. I'm doing Twitch and I'm DoorDashing, and for now that's all I need. And I'm grateful that this is where my life is. I hope you guys are following, because this is where it's going to lead. There's more to come, and I started reading a book called Earthsea. It is my replacement for Harry Potter because fuck J.K. Rowling. I want to make excuse me. I want to make a video on that when I'm finished with reading with that. I'm not gonna put a timeline on it because I can't finish all of the books I want to this year. So maybe next year I'll do a timeline read. But for now, that's the update and the situation. I'm glad I'm making content again and making things apparent. You know, I'm glad I get to make things again. Cat's in the way. If you like anything I'm doing, please do me a favor. Follow me everywhere on DeafBird1. And there'll be more to talk about my Twitch channel relatively soon. I don't know if you guys have seen yet, I've uploaded some gaming clips. I'm going to upload some more. I'm going to go through my videos this week and get to that and have you guys see that. But for now, that's all. Subscribe, rate, and all that happy horse shit. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.